More coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on X. Now, we start from Parliament and their concerns that the two-day sit-in by legislators was a waste of time as the House could not work on 10 out of the 11 items listed in the Majority Leader's request for the recall. Now, Minority Leader Dr. Kesela Tuforson described the recall as unnecessary. The Majority Leader, Alexander Penyo-Markin, apologized for the inability of the House to complete the scheduled activities.
In the beginning, this recall was indeed needless. And this is evidently clear from the business we have transacted so far in this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that there was no way the business we've done so far should have warranted such a recall. Right, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, our country's democracy is at a crossroads, and it's important that the Electoral Commission takes steps to ensure that they will conduct a free, fair, credible, transparent elections. Mr. Speaker, we were recalled to tackle tax exemptions and loans. Right, Honorable Speaker, one of it has been approved. Mr. Speaker, our concern still remains with the tax exemptions. We strongly believe that these giveaways should be curtailed. We strongly believe that these giveaways of tax exemptions is unwarranted, Mr. Speaker, and we believe that at the time that the country is bleeding, Ghana should not be giving such giveaways to crony businesses.
Speaker, first, I would like to thank you for making yourself available to preside over our assembly.
You heard them saying when they were talking about the things we are diluting, you noticed they were not even talking about it.
My expectation was that
even addendum number 2, things
we would be able to transact
before them that you understand.
the government business we had programmed to transact. Unfortunately, we have not been able to do as expected. I take responsibility and take full responsibility for this inability to transact all the essential government business.
So let's run you through the items listed in the Majority Leader's letter that's requesting for a recall, and the ones that are correctly ticked are the ones that Parliament managed to complete. So the first one is a $250 million financial agreement between Ghana and the International Development Association for Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. So that's what Parliament was able to attend to. The other requests, which include the request for tax exemption for designated beneficiaries under the One District, One Factory program, and the International Development Association facility of $250 million US for the Ghana Financial Stability Fund, were both not able to see the light of day. Also, the Budget Bill 2023 did not happen. The Rent Bill 2023, the University of Local Governance and Development Bill 2024, Environmental Protection Bill 2024, the Interstate Succession Bill 2022, the National Petroleum Authority Bill 2024, the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2024, the Chartered Institute of Reconstruction and Insolvency Practitioners Bill 2023. All these items did not materialize. All right, Samuel Bain is with the Parliamentary Network Africa. He joins us live. Sami, if you can hear me, so what do you make of what's transpired in Parliament over the last 2 days?
So, whereas Parliament and members of Parliament have the right by the procedures of the House and the standing orders to ask for emergency recall, that's what has gone on. I think that it is quite unfortunate that the people of Ghana were given a litany of reasons why this emergency recall needed to take place, including some very important pieces of legislation, draft legislation or bills that needed to be considered. Unfortunately, it turns out in the 2 days that the leadership that handles government business in Parliament were simply interested in having Parliament come back to look at specific areas for which it even so appears that the necessary consensus that needed to be built outside of Parliament with the minority side, with the speakership, ensuring that the right implementation are coming from the executive branch to be laid before Parliament and what have you. Many of these things did not seem to have been done. And for me, this really reflects in the majority leader accepting responsibility and apologizing for almost wasting everybody's time and wasting some of the very resources that the Parliament of Ghana has to manage the legislative arm of government, but have had to spend it on this emergency recall. I think that those who handle government business in Parliament can do way better than what has just happened last year.
I mean, when you say they can do way better, what exactly do you mean? This meeting was an emergency sitting called by the majority leader. What else could he have done than to seek the support of the minority side?
So, recall, for the recall and the information provided, there were specific things that were going to be looked at. And for taking a litany of issues were one of those, and then a list of possible bills, and you have just listed them on your show. Now, if these are the reasons you give for an emergency recall, and then the House sits, and we get to realize that not even proper consensus has been built between the majority side and the minority side. Then we realize that even the bills that were listed are some of the items that need to come. Some of them were not even, ready for them to be laid in Parliament. Then we realized that, even at the level of the speakership, consensus has not been built. Then we realized that even whipping the members of the majority side of the House to be present to take up these government businesses that have been listed, was also an effort in futility. Then it leaves a lot to be desired. And for me, seeing the pains that Parliament has had to go through, the extent to which they have to spend resources to call these 2 days. Yes, it is not wasted because certainly some issues were dealt with during the course of the 2 days. But I think that these are issues that even before Parliament went on the main recess, Senate sometime in July, these are matters that could have been dealt with at that particular time without we being put into the frenzy of a supposed emergency recall, which really handles very, very little as compared to what they expect.
Sammy Obeng, I've got to say a big thank you to you. Sammy Obeng is with the Parliamentary Network Africa. Join us with some more details and explanation to what has happened in Parliament over the last 2 days.
Well, still in Parliament, the Speaker has directed 4 committees to continue to engage stakeholders, including the people of Ada, in a matter relating to the Songo salt mining disputes. The Speaker says the earlier report by the committee was not satisfactory, as there continues to be conflict between the indigents and Electrochem Ghana Limited.
The reports of the Joint Committee on Energy and Lands and Natural Resources on the Songo salt mining undertaken by Electrochem Ghana Limited was taken on the floor. The MP for Ada, Comfort Doyo Kujo, said there were disturbances in the constituency as a result of activities of Electrochem.
We are pleading with Electrochem to hold its peace so that we can save our shrines, cemeteries, some of the villages, so that we can define exactly what is to do in the area.
But heated argument ensued among some MPs over the matter.
We are leaders. We are not followers. And in leading, sometimes you have to take a very difficult decision to explain to your people that, look, because of this thing that's happening, that is what has happened in Robasi. That is what is happening in Kenya. That is what is happening in Bogoso. That is what is happening in Takwa. So Ada cannot be an exclusion. The investor has come to this house and gotten its investment or the terms ratified by this house. We don't have any problem with Parliament ratifying it, but Parliament cannot ratify an agreement which goes and plays against the interests of the indigenous people and their livelihoods. I have evidence on my phone where even this report was prepared before meetings of the committee ended.
The Speaker had to intervene and gave his directive.
The committees I have mentioned, please, this is a standing directive. Visit the area, the site, the people, and engage with them as leaders, not as combatants. The debate has been carried on as if you are part and parcel of the parties. You are not. You are to create the avenue for a peaceful settlement of this long-standing dispute.
Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Parliament House.
Let's bring highlights of issues to be investigated further in the Ada Songo dispute. One is the validity of the additional lease agreement for Ada West and East. Also, the application and relevance of PNDC Law 287 and its implications for Electrochem Ghana Limited leases and future operations. 3, the issue of compensation for affected parties and further engagement with stakeholders. Let's speak to Christian Kolete Otute. He is the Member of Parliament for Sege. He had earlier raised concerns about work done by the committee. Honourable, thank you so much for your time. First of all, are you satisfied with the directives issued by the Speaker?
Well, like I've said earlier, the Speaker is like a judge between the citizens or the indigenes of the Sege, Songo, Lagum, and Crips, and also on the other side of the Electrochem. So far the directives he gave are the pending issues, basic issues, which should have been addressed before the takeoff of this thing. For instance, looking at the compensation issues, you have businessmen and women who used their money to buy salt, which was a cost for the previous company. Electrochem came with understanding that all liabilities will be carried to them. 3 years now, they haven't made any. They have done some, but how can some people have their money locked up in business for 3 years and you expect them to survive? That is a major issue. So compensation is a key issue which I want it to be addressed to the fullest. Also, looking at the 1,000 acres that they have given, it's unfortunate that the question will be, to how many people are they going to use that 1,000 acres? No, that is a question. You can't say 1,000 is enough. But the question also which comes to be answered in the meetings, if it's 1,000, how many people are going to benefit from that? Who are the stakeholders with that? I think these are basic issues which must be looked at before we can have a thorough understanding of the work done. There are issues like also lack of recognition of certain papers into the committee's report. I, the city MP for the area, my contribution or my paper submitted was not captured in their report, and other very important stakeholders. So all these things were not really well done. And not to say the committee is not a competent one. It is. I don't underrate any member of the committee's competence. No, but it is because of the time frame that they have to work out this to bring a report is what probably might have led to this. So if the Speaker would direct that we should have further engagements so that we can get proper understanding of this, it is in the right direction.
All right.
Very welcome, because I can say the work done, which is not really being satisfied to me, myself, and my people, is as a result of time frame to which they are to. So if Speaker grants us further engagement time, we should welcome it and go ahead.
Yeah, Honourable, it's barely 4 months for this Parliament to end. Are you concerned that the committee will not fully investigate this matter?
Well, I expect the committee to do a thorough work, and it's quite a big area. And if they have to visit the site, it's not a matter of a day's job. They may need to go on a number of days. So if in case they can't finish it up. We will take it up in the next parliament. But of course, we want a permanent solution. And this is not going to be a 15-year, though the first concessional period is 15 years. But it can be renewed and to go on. So we must take our time to do a thorough work so that we will get a perfect peace and love for the people. Otherwise, there will be no progress. That's what that Speaker said, which he said the will of the people must prevail. And truly, it is a fact.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Christian Otute is Member of Parliament for Seguin.
And staying in Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament, Aban Bagbin, says members of Parliament must be bold in taking decisions concerning their privileges and immunities. This is in reaction to the position taken by some legislators on the law that was to exempt them from speed limits across the country. He's tasked the subsidiary legislation committee to consider it and report to the House on the next line of action.
On Wednesday, the road amendment regulations paper was laid in the House, but MP for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, had issues with its laying.
It's not Honorable Alban Sumana Bagbin, it's the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament. Is not entitled to a motorcade or a police accompanied siren. In my view, Mr. Speaker, is wrong for the number 3 to be out of this privilege. The Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana is also out of the motor traffic regulation. Let's guard against our privileges and immunities as MPs.
Once the document is laid, it becomes the property of this House. But once it has been laid and referred to the committee, if we want anything changed, we can then insist that either you add or subtract this or we annul it. For me, what is critical is that we stand together on matters that are important to us.
Other MPs wanted the House to be bold in taking decisions that will match the office of MPs and that of the Speaker.
My contribution is to caution my colleagues to be bold for once, because we've been coward to the public. Anything concerning Parliament, we are afraid of the reaction of the public. And anything the government needs, they will first come to Parliament. For a whole speaker to say that he cannot even enjoy a motorcade. Every money this country needs, it has to go through Parliament. But the society belittles us. We also demand that we should be included, if not resign it.
I'm just seeing this. I cannot encourage the minister to proceed with the laying of this instrument, which instrument would mean that Mr. Speaker is not even entitled to some privileges.
The MPs wanted the Speaker to withdraw the laid paper, but the Speaker insisted on referring it to the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation for consideration and report back to the House. He blamed MPs for not taking responsibility.
Timorous souls, they went back and look at what they are bringing to you. These hairs that you have, if you are using the hairs properly, they will always be on top. It's when you are using it wrongly that they will cut it off. Let's have the guts. The committee should go through it, because there may be other matters apart from just this one that needs reconsideration.
He appealed to Ghanaians to understand the work of the MP.
We should be able to get the 2/3. Why should Parliament go to sleep and the instrument will slip through? If it falls short of it, present a report for us to annul it, and this House should not run away from annulling the bill.
He has subsequently referred it to the Subsidiary Legislation Committee for consideration and report. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Parliament House.
This is your election command center. The Convention People's Party has elected Nana Frimpong Kumankuma as their 2024 flag bearer with 763 votes against her opponent Nana Frimpong, who garnered 586 votes. But Nana Frimpong refused to congratulate her, describing the election as not being free and fair.
The election held in all 16 regions ended at 3 p.m. The Electoral Commission, after the elections, declared Nana Frimpong Kumankuma as a flag bearer-elect with 763 votes against her opponent, Nana Frimpong.
Yao Anoche Frimpong had 586 votes, and Nana Frimpong Sapong Kumankuma had 763 votes. 11 votes were rejected. In view of this, I wish to declare Nana Frimpong Sapong Kumankuma as the elected flag bearer of
In her victory speech, Nana Frimpong Kumankuma called for unity to ensure victory ahead of the 2024 general elections.
I believe that in a political party such as ours, it's one person would have to win. Yeah. And once one person has won, especially when it's so decisive, it only needs to have unity moving forward.
But her opponent refused to congratulate her, describing the election as not free and fair.
You lose fairly. It's so easy to congratulate the winner. If you are robbed by the referee, how can you congratulate the winner?
So you will not congratulate her?
You get it from the answer I've given to you.
He said the CPP will continue to record 0 votes in all general elections.
Certain people somewhere had felt that Lawyer Noche would be a very dangerous candidate on the ballot paper. And so everything should be done to ensure that Anoche would not come. CPP should continue to record zeros at the polling station.
Congratulations to the Convention People's Party. Onto the camp of the New Patriotic Party, and its flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has reiterated his burning desire to reform the public transport sector by replacing diesel and petrol-dependent vehicles with electric vehicles. Addressing party supporters as part of the resumption of his Greater Accra regional campaign tour, Dr. Bawumia said the reform has been necessary to reduce cost of transportation in the country.
That was the triumphant entry of the NPP flag bearer to the Okankwe South constituency. Accompanied by government officials and members of his campaign team, Dr. Bawumia fraternized with traders at the Kaneshi market and appealed for their votes after sharing aspects of his manifesto promises with them. He later addressed a rally of party supporters at the Kaneshi market, where he outlined details of his manifesto. He said an administration he seeks to lead in 2025 would scrap import duties on mobile phones.
No more import duty on mobile phones coming into Ghana. We go from China, mobile phone. No more import duty on mobile phone.
The delegation later engaged the electorate in a town hall meeting. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia said he is committed to revamp the public transport system to make transportation costs cheaper for all.
Transport prices no so because of two things. Fuel is high in price, spare parts high in price. Electric vehicles, no need for fuel, no need for spare parts. Before the end of this year, the new electric vehicles no air back.
On education, the NPP flag bearer said government has completed the distribution of laptops to all teachers in the country.
From kindergarten teachers to senior high school students, laptops. He completed the distribution. No other country in Africa has done that.
In the Paa Kwesi Central constituency, the campaign team was received by MP of the area, Patrick Yaobuama, chiefs and religious leaders at Edeba. Dr. Bawumia announced that his government in 2025 will introduce Buy Ghana First policy, backed by legislation to compel the citizens to minimize importation of foreign goods that can be found in Ghana. The team crowned the day's campaign tour in the Okankwe North constituency with a mega rally at La Paz. Stanley Nibleru, TV3 News, La Paz, Accra.
NDC flag bearer John Mahama has accepted the second-hand vehicle tag handed him by Vice President and flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia. Campaigning in Sene West and East of the Bono East region, John Mahama maintained that such vehicles have proven to be reliable as he renewed his commitment to farmers.
An agenda for change hinged on resetting the walls of the country. A fired-up John Mahama has clapped back at the tag imposed on him by the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
I accept that I'm a second-hand vehicle. Second-hand vehicles have shown quality and experience than brand new ones.
NDC, Amanyoko, Yakuta Omainda, Yenim Senya, Naya Sitna City, Abra, NDC Wam Abaymo. Any harrow, any planter,
we are committed to making agriculture an envy and lucrative venture for the farmers here. We owe it a duty to you as the next government.
For supporters of the NDC, no name calling and hoodwinking will wash. People are saying that they'll prefer an experienced driver who knows the terrain and who understands their concerns than a brand new person who was always failed and has always been telling the people that I'm not aware, I didn't know about this. Even though I was part of government, but I was not given a free hand to operate.
I know when NDC is on power, I'm going to be employed and work. Yeah, I'm sure.
John Mahama charged the enthusiastic crowd in the 11 constituencies in the Bono East region. The NDC has kept 10, with only Pru West going to the MPP. The interest in John Mahama has gone beyond the elderly. Infants risked to catch a glimpse of his policies he is outlining. Senate East and West in the Bono East is one of the newly created regions by government noted for agriculture. John Mahama affirms his plans are well cut out for the region as he remains the most credible candidate going into the elections as the nation builder. Omla Kluche, TV3 News, Kwame Danso.
Says the police to investigate the circumstances leading to the killing of a student at the O'Reilly Senior High School. Family of the deceased are, however, not impressed. My colleague Gordon Asiriba has more.
The air was thick with sorrow when I arrived at the home of Edward Bokitisaki, a young life tragically cut short by senseless violence on campus. Edward's sister, once full of life, now left on the edge of collapse, her cries uncontrollable as grief consumed her. Family members and neighbors gathered around her, their faces painted with disbelief and deep sadness, struggling to comprehend the sudden loss. Edward, an 18-year-old final year student in the General Arts Department at O'Reilly Senior High School, had been a bright light for his family. But on that fateful Monday, September 2, 2024, his promising future was abruptly snatched away in a brutal altercation on school grounds. A heated argument with a classmate, Godwin, from the Visual Arts Department, spiraled into violence, leaving Edward fatally wounded. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Eric Nkansa, along with the head teachers of the school, visited the bereaved family, promising to bring justice to the matter. However, During conversations with the family, it was evident that they were dissatisfied with the plans presented by GES. The meeting ended in chaos as angry family members, feeling unheard and frustrated, escorted the GES officials to their cars. Edward's sister believes the family deserves a better explanation from the school.
What I thought brought up that fight because you were able to rescue the boy, to put him say at a safer place. So why is that 3 days now? Are you sure that they've not had a conversation with the boy? No, they've at least have a conversation with the boy. So you understand, they should come out and say something. We can't wait to that.
So it means you are not satisfied with the meeting?
No. Since the headmistress is here, she's supposed to tell us something because she was here. And she was in the school when the incident happened. So she's supposed to tell us something.
Edward's father is engulfed in unimaginable pain, condemning the silence from the school authorities who have yet to offer any answers.
He said the school have rules, but everything will go under 2 weeks. The school will do their investigation, what caused all those problems, together with the police. The family will hold on for that 2 weeks and hear what they'll come out with. If they don't come out with anything reasonable, I think we'll take the legal action against them.
At Orali Senior High School, students were seen preparing for their WASI examination. However, efforts to get the headmistress of the school to answer a few questions proved futile.
Your guess is as good as mine in what state of mind the students would have been in. And so counseling is ongoing to help them to deal with the trauma of this event.
The arrest of the alleged perpetrator, Godwin, a fellow final year student, offers little solace to a family whose world has been shattered. They seek justice, but more than that, they long for the son, the brother, the friend who will never walk through their door again. This tragedy has cast a long shadow over what should have been a time of celebration and accomplishment. Now, all that remains are questions, grief, and a family's desperate plea for justice. Behind me is the Orali Senior High School, where a tragic altercation turned fatal, shaking the entire school community to its core. As the investigation continues, questions are asked about how such a tragedy could happen here in what should be a place of learning and safety. School authorities and students are grappling with a shock while the family calls for answers and justice. 18-year-old Edward Saki should have been sitting for his government paper in the WASI examinations with his other colleagues today. But instead, his lifeless body lies within the cold walls of the morgue with stabbed wounds. Quite a painful death that demands immediate answers. Godwin Asideba, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, learning and gaining leadership principles and personal growth techniques are what the Live to Lead conference seeks to achieve. Leadership coaches of the upcoming program have therefore urged the youth and stakeholders in the corporate world to implement goals that will enable them to lead with renewed commitment. Ekuafo Wadako has more in this report.
If you cannot be an example, you cannot lead. But what do you do on your way to change? The leadership goal is to impact your sphere of influence. Hence, Live to Lead conferences aim to create a platform for like-minded leaders to network and share their passion for leadership and learning.
The events are sparks. They start a fire. But that fire needs to be curated, if you like. It needs to be guided. And so in the Maxwell circles, we like to say that real transformation doesn't happen in rows, like you're sitting right now. It actually happens in circles.
According to the chief leadership coach of CTL Africa, Samuel Ayim, the personal growth event, Live to Lead, would challenge attendees to own their growth and develop capacity, spurring them to the next level.
And people go to Live to Lead and they just want to change the world, because that is what we want to. So there is the power of the people who are coming. I mean, then you are in the room with other people from different organizations who are willing to grow, and you are changing ideas. We're going to have round tables where people are sitting in the tables and they are discussing.
Live to Lead 2024, which would be broadcasting live on October 4, is a simulcast program and an annual leadership gathering developed by Maxwell Leadership.
Reminders to watching News 360, our major news bulletin for the day. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, with the very latest in the world of business.
Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
West Hills Ridge Property, Eden Heights.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin Nsia, has highlighted that Ghanaian consumers would have benefited from significantly lower fuel prices at the local pumps if the cedi had not depreciated rapidly against the dollar amid the recent decline in global oil prices. Oil prices experienced a sharp decline on Tuesday, reaching their lowest level of the year, whilst the cedi has recently depreciated by about 24% year-on-year.
Brent crude, the international oil benchmark, fell nearly 5% to below $74 per barrel, marking its lowest price since December 13, 2023.
The petroleum user locally have not seen that particular impact of decline on the international market because of the depreciation of the currency. When, as a country, we make the currency very stable, that is the cedi against the dollar very stable, anytime there's that huge decline in the price of petroleum products on the international market, locally the export prices also decline to complement what has been experienced on the international market.
Meanwhile, energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana has projected decline in global crude prices are likely to be sustained. The fall came after top oil importer China reported its fourth straight month of manufacturing declines and ahead of a slew of economic data in the U.S.
For the first time in a year, crude oil prices, especially Brent, which is our key benchmark, has dropped below $75 mark, with WTI also dropping even below 70. That's unprecedented, and if that's sustained with other factors not going bad, we'll likely see this reduction sustain or even go further.
Oil prices have been on a decline since the beginning of the third quarter of 2024, with a sharp decline on Tuesday, September 3, 2024, reaching their lowest level of the year.
Financial analyst Dr. Wisdom Dogbe is urging increased efforts to enhance Ghana's bilateral trade as a strategy to address the persistent depreciation of the cedi. This call comes in the wake of recent data revealing that trade between Ghana and Switzerland reached $3 billion last year, a figure comparable to the amount provided to Ghana under the IMF bailout program.
I would say it is one of the good news, right, for Ghana's struggling economy in terms of revenue mobilization. You know, the key to diversifying government revenue runs through exports. So we need to do even more in exports. It's a critical component, you know, in our economic recovery fight. And when you think about the current depreciation of the cedi, one of the key concerns for Ghana is the inadequate reserve of foreign currency, I mean dollars, you know, to serve as a buffer to exchange rate volatility. So as we grow exports, I think that is going to be a potent tool to acquire more foreign currency, which is great in stabilizing the exchange rate. That is the stability that will foster investor confidence and attract more investments, including foreign direct investments into the country.
MTN Ghana has launched the 7th edition of MTN Heroes of Change program aimed at recognizing and rewarding individuals who are making a positive impact in their communities. The program seeks to identify and celebrate individuals who are working tirelessly to bring about change in the lives of people and communities, often without recognition or reward. The 7th edition of MTN Heroes of Change will reward shortlisted nominees, with the overall winner getting a cash prize of 100,000 Ghana cedis. A new category, the Digital Hero, has been introduced to celebrate those who are harnessing the power of social media and other digital platforms to drive meaningful change in line with MTN's strategic intent to lead digital solutions for Africa's progress.
So this season, as we are going out again to call for nominations for people within our communities who are doing all kinds of things, and we are looking in the area of education, health and economic empowerment to uplift the lives of the people within the communities.
Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer Adjoa Wiafe stressed on the impact the program has had on beneficiaries.
We believe that it's something that it's a good platform for those who are working hard, selflessly, using their own means to do good work within our communities. It's important for us to reward our heroes, those who do not ask for anything, those who are just moved by passion and compassion to do things for people.
Nomination forms for the 7th edition are available on the MTN Ghana website and at MTN service centers across the country. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
National football, and for Ghana, Kumasi is where all the action is. The Black Stars are currently wrapping up their training for the big AFCON 2025 qualifier against Angola on Thursday. The qualifiers are crammed with 2 matches every month. Black Stars head coach understands that the Nations Cup is a given for Ghana, and it is important that the Black Stars starts with a bang.
I think in general for all the players it's getting a little bit too much. We have a lot of competition. The FIFA has now announced FIFA Club World Championship also, so it's a lot for the players and a lot of games, and we have to really watch out in terms of injuries. So we'll see. I hope that everybody will stay healthy, because it's not easy to play in your club and also come to Ghana again and play in your club again. And let's say the worst examples maybe are if you're coming from America, from the US, come to Ghana, you have to go back and then play games. It's really hard. I know this. I was a player myself, and it's not easy. So we have to watch out of our players' health. But yeah, on the other side, for us it's good to see them, but I hope that it won't be too much for them.
In addition to Angola, competition for a place at the Nations Cup will come from Sudan and Niger. The two countries met today in Sudan, who have been superb under former Ghana captain and coach Kwesi Asare began the qualifying campaign with a 1-0 win. It means they topped the group on match day 1. What sort of qualifiers could this be for Ghana? Also on the African continent, there are a number of AFCON qualifiers that are spread across. You can find the details and 3 Sports GH across all the socials. Fans at the Barbara Sports Stadium are going to witness a new way of getting access into the stadium for the big qualifier between Ghana and Angola, where kickoff is at 4 p.m. This is how the new ticketing system is going to be for all football fans who are getting ready to the stadium on Thursday to support Ghana.
2 goals. Fan experience is set to become even better in Babayara as the Black Stars take on Angola in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers next Thursday, with an upgraded e-ticketing system sanctioned by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Sports Authority. E-tickets have been a feature of football matches in Ghana for some time now, but the new initiative will provide improved fan experience, enhance access in and out of the stadium, and ensure there is zero fuss about seating arrangement. There will also be 1,200 matchday personnel on duty to assign fans to their respective seats. To improve the fan experience, there will be multiple handheld point-of-sale devices to verify e-tickets. This will ensure faster verification to end long queues and chaotic atmospheres when the senior national team comes to town. In the words of the Sports Minister, Mustafa Yusuf, the digital economy has come to stay, and sports is playing a lead role in that.
Away from the AFCON 2025 qualifiers, Ghana midfielder Abdul Salih Samed has completed a move to Sunderland. Abdul Samed has become the latest Ghanaian to sign with Sunderland, who now play in the Championship. The club used to be the home of Asamoah Gyan, Suleiman Tari and John Mensah in the early 2010s. Salih, who was out of favour at RC Lens in France, says he's thrilled to be in the English football system. Meanwhile, the 2024 Paralympics Games in Paris has given Ghana a bit of joy. Now Ghana has shot put athlete Zainabu Issa topping the qualifiers with a throw of 8.67 meters. She will go on to compete in the finals on Thursday as Ghana hopes to get a medal from the championship. That will be all for sports here on News 360. My name is Kelvin Ouswanta from the Barbara Sports Stadium.
News segment is powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening. Let's do some entertainment news updates here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. In an exciting news for gospel music enthusiasts worldwide, the celebrated Experience concert by Diana Hamilton is making a triumphant return to its origins. After a decade of remarkable events in Ghana, the next chapter unfolds in London. After a decade of celebrating God's blessings and favor through the Experience concert in Ghana, multiple award-winning gospel artist Diana Hamilton is bringing the event back to its roots in London. On Saturday, October 5, the Dominion Centre in Wood Green will host the Paa Experience with Diana Hamilton featuring a powerful lineup of gospel musicians from around the world.
First experience was done in London in 2014. That is why it ended up being the 10th year in 2024. But we thought it wise that where it started, we should take it back there. It's yours truly, DH will be on. Kobe Mante is there. There's a lady called Charlotte up here in London who will be joining us. And then a lady from Nigeria, Ada Ehi, will be joining us on the night, and other surprises.
Speaking to 3 Entertainment, Diana Hamilton emphasizes that collaborating with top artists at events like these is crucial for promoting Ghanaian music on a global stage.
I think these collaborations we're doing are one of those things that help us to cross borders and to also bring people in and for them to take ours back. So that's another great way. Relationships. And the songs that we're doing, as God gives us, we put it out there, and then God will take us far. Collaborations as you're led with ourselves here in Ghana. If one person can put 1,000 and 2 can put 10,000, it's simple like that. And so if we join ourselves to do these songs, it helps. I think recently I did a song with Fisa Pons doing amazing, and I have a song with Mercy Chinwo doing amazing. These are things that we do, there's no hard and fast rule. Everybody is called on an assignment, and that assignment is what we should work with.
Now to some more stories. Grammy Award-winning artist Thames has addressed Jamaican reggae legend Buju Banton's recent critique on Afrobeats. In a recent episode of Shopping the Sneakers podcast, Thames defended the genre, stating that its primary purpose is escapism rather than social commentary. Buju Banton had previously criticized Afrobeats for lacking substance and predicted that it would eventually fade. Thames countered this by explaining that Afrobeats offers a respite from harsh realities of life in Nigeria, providing a much-needed escape from societal challenges. She also acknowledged the distinctiveness of reggae compared to Afrobeats, emphasizing that each genre serves its own unique purpose and holds its own value.
As an artist, and I understand where he's coming from. Reggae is not Afrobeats.
Yeah.
And the Afrobeats in Nigeria is specifically for escapism, it's specifically for dancing, it's specifically for vibes, it's specifically made for that purpose.
Well, that brings us to the end of the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Well, we'll go for some sport of international news.
No, that's it for News 360.
Okay.
Thank you so much for spending 1 hour of your time with us. My name is Portia Gabor.
My name is Paa Kwesi Asare.